carried by the state-run Saudi press agency announced the strikes. Anti-Houthi forces later declared a state of emergency, blocking border crossings into territory that they hold. By some measures, China's economy is looking resilient with strong exports and breakthroughs in AI. But that's not how it feels for many Chinese citizens. They're suffering the strain of weak property prices as well as uncertainty over their jobs and incomes. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's enough to make you sour on sweets. Over the course of a year, many Americans eat an awful lot of sugar.
Up to 57 pounds per year, according to the American Heart Association. And the culprit isn't just glazed pastries and soda. Many products marketed as healthy can have a tablespoon of added sugars per serving. Nicole Lavina, a neuroscience and psychiatry professor at Mount Sinai Medical School, says to be wary of marketing terms that aren't regulated, like made with real fruit, all natural, and superfood. Healthy grocery buzzwords like those often cover up an unhealthy amount of sugar. Along with saturated fat and salt, eating excess sugar is linked to heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and other health risks. Keith Peters, Washington.
Wall Street has been in the red so far this morning. The Dow is down about 81 points, while the NASDAQ Composite Index trading 32 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome to the John Frederick Radio Network. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It is December 30th, 2025, the penultimate day of 2025. Next to the last. Tomorrow will be the ultimate day of 2025. We will be broadcasting live from our studios tomorrow here in Nashville, but we're taking Thursday and Friday off, and then we'll be back Monday, January 5th, 2026. Well, it's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day, every weekday at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here is the morning rundown for Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. Number one, the Minnesota Somali fraud scandal is absolutely blowing up. Minnesota is clearly a failed corrupt state where Somali fraud against U.S. and Minnesota taxpayers has resulted in a decade of Democrat Party control. Governor Tim Walz, a Democrat. Attorney General Keith Ellison, a Muslim Democrat. Ilhan Omar, a Somali Muslim Democrat. They all might be in big trouble. Former Minnesota resident E.J. Haas joins us in hour two to explain. Number two, speaking of fraud against U.S. taxpayers, new documents released yesterday by the FBI confirm what we, as the Tennessee Star, reported a year and a half ago. Covenant killer Audrey Hale purchased the gun she used to kill 6 people with federal student Pell Grant money. Tom Pappert will join us at the bottom of the hour to explain all those details. Number 3, Somali fraud not limited to Minneapolis. That's the biggest population center for Somalis in the United States. About 250,000 Somalis live in the Minneapolis area. There was like 0 Somalis there in 1990. Thank you, Bill Clinton and George W. Bush and Barack Obama and Joe Biden, right? That's what they've done. Now there are reports of huge Somali fraud in Columbus, Ohio. That's the second largest population center for Somalis in America. Number 4, Stephen K. Bannon says we need a 10-year pause on all immigration. I agree. We had a pause. We needed a pause back in 1920. We need one today. They're not assimilating, and they don't want to, for the most part. Number 5, Donald Trump announced strikes on Venezuela, stopping drug traffickers. We'll talk with, in number 6, hour 3, we'll talk about that and more with Clint Brewer, a fully recovered journalist who will be joining us. Number 7, a new law goes into effect on January 1st, Thursday, driver's license issued by blue states like Minnesota and California to illegal aliens, and Maryland, by the way, are not valid in Tennessee. Yeah. So look, if you pull somebody over and they have a driver's license and they're illegal aliens issued by Minnesota or Maryland, not valid in Tennessee, I think, look, if you're not driving with a valid license in Tennessee, you can and should be arrested. Number 8, this is kind of a fun story. We'll talk about it more with Clint Brewer in hour 3. There is, Franklin, Tennessee is a very, very nice community just south of Nashville in Williamson County and of Tennessee, named after and formed in 1799, named after founding father Ben Franklin. Guess what? Until today, there's not been a statue of Ben Franklin. There is now, and I think there'll be an unveiling later today. That's a really great thing. So there you go. That is the morning rundown for Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. If you've been wondering what to get that special Second Amendment guy or gal in your life, it's never too early to start thinking about it, and it's never too early to save, especially when you visit glockstore.com. I think there's still the Glock Store Christmas sale. I think if you tell them you listen to this show and you want to get in on the Christmas sale, I think they might let you in on it. They have incredible discounts on virtually everything they sell. I'm talking huge discounts on optics, barrels and compensators, magazines and extensions, extended controls, slide cuts, and so much more, including incredible deals on factory rebuilt Glocks. Hey, if you can't tell the difference, why pay the difference? I'm all for that. And don't forget to drop in a Vortex Red Dot reindeer sticker or patch or a Vortex Tactical Christmas Tree sticker. I think Christmas trees are still up, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I keep my Christmas tree up well into January. Why? I just like it. You get a Vortex Tactical Christmas Tree sticker or patch for a chance to win either a Glock 47 or a Glock 45, nicely equipped with a Vortex Red Dot optic. It really couldn't be any easier to get the best deals of the year on the best gear in the country. That's that glockstore.com, glockstore.com. So there you go. All right, let's go to Minnesota, where this is a corrupt, failed state, where everybody appears to be in on it. And now Republican legislators in Minnesota are calling for the impeachment of Governor Tim Walz because this has been going on for his 7-year watch, and he knows all about it. And he's done nothing, zero zip nada, to stop it. Here is a Minnesota Republican legislator talking about the impeachment of the need for an impeachment of Governor Tim Walz.
Absolutely. I called for the governor to resign several weeks ago. I just think his dereliction of duty is unconscionable. These whistleblowers have been sounding the alarm for years. We've had hearings for almost a year now, holding his agencies accountable. He's not fired anyone. He's not taken steps to stop the fraud on the front end, and he continues to make excuses. So I would absolutely want him to resign, as I said weeks ago, or I know others are looking at articles of impeachment, but he is responsible. He has turned a blind eye for 7 years, and we need to clean house in the executive branch.
And I know, Representative, you're running for governor as well to unseat him. Many of us are left with many questions about this. He was almost the vice president of the United States, and we see billions of dollars under his nose that were just wasted. What would that look like on the national level if he was the vice president of the United States?
Oh, it would be terrible. I'm so grateful that President Trump led the DOGE effort to clean up the federal government, and we need to continue to work to clean up the state government.
Well, yeah, you do. But Tim Walz, he loves refugees, especially refugees from Somalia. Here he is. This is a 2022 clip telling everybody how much he loves refugees, and especially refugees from Somalia.
We're a state of immigrants that values that. We have more refugees per capita than any other state. That's not just morally a good thing. It's our economic and cultural future. This beautiful diversity we see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school, and you see every storefront filled with different types of foods, different types of businesses that are happening. Minnesota needs to continue to do that. The office of governor can set the tone on that. We're going to continue to need to diversify. We're going to have to put policies in place that make sure we're attracting teachers of color so that students of color have someone that they understand, look like, think like, see like in front of them, as well as other students. We are doing it in Minnesota.
Okay, they are doing it. They're doing the fraud in Minnesota, and they're encouraging the fraud. By the way, the impeachment under the state constitution in Minnesota of a governor is very similar to the impeachment of a president of the United States. You need a majority, a member of the House, and then the grounds for impeachment, corrupt conduct in office. Corrupt conduct in office. I think that's the standard. That's different from the Constitution. Basically, the trials are in the Minnesota State Senate, requires 2/3. They probably have the votes to impeach him, but probably not to convict him. But they need to do it. Back with more on Minnesota fraud after this.
Ponder this. Most of us in America have more than we need to sustain ourselves, like a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothes to wear, and much more. The one thing we seem to be lacking every day is more time. There is never enough time in our day, or in a night for that matter. That being said, we try to create more time each day by rushing around to perhaps buy a little more time. We rush from one event to another. We double or even triple task to save time. We drive fast cars to get to our fast food restaurants. Our days are full with little time left for family, friends, and God. To better manage your pace, take a minute each morning to get on your knees and let the Lord know that you are giving Him all your time today. Sincerely ask Him to give you clear direction on what He wants you to accomplish each day. The Lord will make sure you have plenty of time for His will to be done without rushing around. Listen to the Lord to manage your time each day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the cost of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month, and for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, we're going to be talking a lot about fraud and the stealing of the U.S. taxpayer money and the grifting thereof and the use of those monies to support Democrat politicians in blue states and blue cities. It seems to be that's the only thing that the Democrats have going on. And they're all in for Somali U.S. taxpayer fraud. We'll get to a little bit later in when E.J. Haas comes in, former resident of Minnesota. And we'll look at how the Democrats are literally ignoring basic facts. Now, Chip Roy is a very strong conservative, member of the U.S. House of Representatives from Texas. He's running for attorney general there in Texas. I think he'd be a very good attorney general. There's a lot of people running for attorney general, but I think he'd be really, really strong. I think he's a former aide to Ted Cruz. And he's got a few, he has a few sharp elbows, right? But I think we kind of need those. He was talking about the issue of Somali fraud in yesterday on Fox News. I think it was Fox News. Here we go, clip 9.
It defies all logic and reason to believe that Governor Walz was ignorant of what was happening in Minnesota. Let's be clear. He was campaigning on it last year with respect to the campaign with Vice President Harris in her run for the presidency. He literally was talking about it. Thank God that President Trump won that election. Thank God that we do not have a Harris-Walz presidency, because they would be encouraging this to continue, whereas this president is rooting out the fraud, securing the border, stopping the flow of people into our country. But this is what happens when you have massive welfare programs that are funding people that are coming into our country, whether it's illegally or, frankly, through legal channels that are being abused by the radical left and the Marxists who want this to occur. The Somali community knew full well what they were doing. It's a part of an enterprise-wide effort that's global, tied to the United Nations, tied to world organizations, NGOs, our own taxpayer dollars that are being used against us while we import people to be put on the welfare state, to be put on Medicaid, and to take taxpayer money. It's fraud that has to be stopped, and people need to be removed, deported, denaturalized, and sent back to Somalia.
I just want to know.
Yeah, I think that's right. And by the way, if you engage in this sort of fraud, you can be denaturalized. Speaking of denaturalization, we probably ought to jump into this and take a look at the claim that Ilhan Omar had made that she's a naturalized citizen. Doesn't look like she meets the standard. She's claimed that she became a naturalized citizen when she was 17 years old. She came to the U.S. at the age 12. Her mother died when she was 2. Her father, who came over with her, supposedly, never became a U.S. citizen. So it would be impossible for her to have become a U.S. citizen at 17. Why? Because the only way a minor, someone under the age of 18, can become a U.S. citizen is if their parents become, one of their parents become a U.S. citizen. Doesn't look like that happened. So back to the kind of inquiry that needs to go on here. I think the inquiry needs to be of Ilhan Omar. Show us the evidence that you are indeed a naturalized U.S. citizen? What is the evidence? And if it's fraudulent, kick her out. I mean, if it's fraudulent, she needs to be actually expelled from the U.S. House of Representatives today. That's a good area of investigation, and one for which there should be some evidence, right? And it just requires, I think, the will to look into it. Now, who should look into it? Minnesota, the Attorney General there is Keith Ellison. He's not going to look into it. But it's a federal offense, and so it ought to be the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice. Now let's go back to another issue here, looking at justice. I'm looking at the Constitution of the state of Minnesota. Article 8 says, lays out the grounds for impeachment. And listen to this. Now remember, you can get impeached if in the lower house of the state legislature in Minnesota, if a majority of House members vote to convict you. And I think there are 134 members right now of the House. I think, I could be mistaken, but I think there are like 69 Republicans in the House and 67 Democrats. I'll have to double check that. But it's very, very close. And the standard for impeachment of a governor is different than the standard of impeachment for a president. The standard for impeachment is high crimes and misdemeanors. Well, what's a high crime? There's an additional element in Minnesota. Corrupt conduct in office. Okay, so what is corrupt conduct? Now remember, impeachment is not, it is a political process. It's a political process. You would look to the standard of corrupt conduct in office, but you would not necessarily have to meet all of whatever the precedent is in determining corrupt conduct in office at whatever's been established in the state of Minnesota. We'll look into it. I do think, though, that it probably meets that standard. So let's take a look at it. Is it corrupt conduct in office for Tim Walz as the governor to take in $9 billion or more of U.S. taxpayer money and disperse it in a way that is fraudulent? Now, you say, how do we know it's fraudulent? This scam has been known since I saw a clip of a former member of the House, U.S. House, in 2014 saying this is a scam. And so Tim Walz, I think, was elected, 2018? I think that was the first time he's elected. 2018, 22, 26. He's up in 26, 4-year term. There were reports on Minnesota's television in 2018 of this corruption going on. He did nothing. It's been out there. If you have a fiduciary responsibility and you do nothing, which is what he's doing, but you're aware of the problem, I think that meets the standard of corrupt conduct in office, because he's well aware of where that's coming. The other part of this is money has gone to all of these, phony businesses, childcare, food distribution, etc. I think a lot of that money's come back in terms of donations to Democrats, and that needs to be looked at. So there you go. All right, so that's Minnesota. We'll talk more about that in hour 2 with E.J. Host. I want to get into this whole idea of what should we do in immigration policy. Stephen K. Bannon says 10-year ban. Let's play that clip right now. Stephen K. Bannon, clip 4.
By the way, that includes student visas. Everything. Because they got little pockets and all of it. Because you got to rethink the whole thing through. And Rosemary Jenks is 100% correct. We've never really gone out and asked the American people. This has all been done behind the scenes, starting with the Kennedy with the bill in 1964, the immigration bill, and then all of it. It's never really been explained to people. This is why you've got the mess you have today. Mm-hmm. And you need dramatic action.
So let me just pause here, and then we'll go into Rosemary Jenks, which you mentioned here. I think we've got time to cover Rosemary Jenks. She's an expert. I think she works for one of the anti-immigration immigration groups in D.C. I think it's FAIR. that she works for, but she's really good, or some similar group. But look, Stephen K. Bannon is a maximalist, right? How do you solve a problem? You just go full on. Rosemary Jenks has a few words to say about this. Let's play clip number 5. Rosemary Jenks.
We have been importing people from cultures that don't have governments that give handouts. In Somalia, you don't get a government handout for anything. The government's keeping any money that they get to enrich themselves. So if you import people from cultures that are not used to the government being benevolent and handing out money, of course they're going to come here and say, oh, the government's willing to give me money. How do I get more? And the, rule of law is not that important in other places as it is here, as we hope it is here.
Yeah, you think so? I mean, how stupid have American leaders in these blue states and blue cities been? I mean, this is the suicide of America that they're trying to promote. Well, guess what? It's not going to happen on our watch, is it? We're going to stop it, and I'm all for Stephen K. Bannon's proposal. End all immigration of all kinds for 10 years. Let's readjust America, and let's have everybody who lives in America and who gets benefits from the government actually love America. Back with more after this. Tom Pappert joins us with the latest revelations from the FBI's release of documents in the Covenant Killer case.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
The Truth with John Gordon.
A strong argument can be made that we need a certain number of illegal immigrants to work menial and in some cases dangerous jobs.
Get all the truth you can handle and more.
Immigrants seem willing to do those jobs. American workers do not.
What?
I'm sorry, I just call them like I see them, folks.
Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 Central, on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
I tell you the truth as best I know it.
Okay!
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com. or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul-off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Well, big news in the Covenant Killer case from yesterday when the FBI released even more documents. Those documents confirmed our reporting at the Tennessee Star from over a year and a half ago. We are joined on our Zoom newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter for the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the Dow Prize award-winning Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
I just have to remind everybody that you won the Dow Prize along with yours truly and Christina Botteri for the very best local journalism in the country. We were nominated in two categories. One was for our reporting on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and that whole story, and then but also for our reporting on the Covenant Killer manifesto. And we had several people actually that when I went and accepted the award in Washington, D.C., you said, yeah, your reporting on Kilmar Abrego Garcia was great, fantastic, best in the country. But you know what? You probably should have won an award also for your Covenant Killer reporting. Breaking news yesterday. Tell us what the FBI released yesterday, why they released it, and now how many pages that we have of the Covenant Killer, quote, manifesto or journals.
Well, Michael, thanks to Kash Patel resolving the litigation against the FBI, including the lawsuit that you and the Tennessee Star brought to get Audrey Hale, the transgender Covenant Killer's manifesto, another 230 pages were released yesterday. That is now 6 installments of Hale's writings that have been released by the FBI under Patel. We understand there's about 2,000 pages in total. We're up to about 1,500. I need to go add it up again and verify that, but we're getting very close to completion, which is good transparency from the FBI under Patel. But this latest drop, this latest release had some corroboration for our past reporting. We reported all the way back, I believe, in mid-2024 that Audrey Elizabeth Hale, the transgender shooter who killed 6 at the Covenant School on March 27, 2023, that she purchased the firearms used in the attack using federal Pell Grant money. And our source for this was the transcript and audio recording of the interview between the killer's parents and Metro Nashville Police Department, including former Detective Bobby Samuels. You've heard us mention him before. This new release contains what seems to be a lot of writing about the guns Hale wanted to buy, but also some sort of bank account ledger pages that seem to reflect her current financial state. And these financial transactions, there's receipts, there's bank account balances. They clearly reflect that she was getting money from the federal student aid money, and she was taking it and using it to buy weapons. So we now know, in the killer's own writing, how she was able to afford thousands of dollars in weaponry despite being unable to hold a job.
She got a check for over $2,000 from this college here in Nashville. It's College of Art and Design called NOSSI, N-O-S-S-I. And she wrote next to it, I think she wrote next to it FAFSA in her writings. But her parents had said it was Pell Grant money. Now, what's interesting about this is we put this up. I put it up on my X account, and we just put it up to say, the FBI documents now confirm our reporting from a year and a half ago that she used Pell Grant money to buy the guns that killed 6 people in March of 2023 at the Covenant School here in Nashville, Tennessee. That tweet organically has now well over 160,000 views. And I was surprised at how much interest there was in it. But I think, Tom, there's a juxtaposition with anger over fraud against U.S. taxpayers from Minnesota, the Somalian fraud. People seem to reference that as this is another example of U.S. taxpayer money going to bad purposes. I mean, the scale is totally different. But were you surprised by how many people have followed up on that and shared that? Our tweet on this.
It was very interesting. I wasn't shocked. It took me a little bit off guard to see the story get so much attention so long after Hale's attack. But I think that is exactly why. And this is probably the most egregious use of a Pell Grant, to go and buy weapons that are then used to kill children. I don't think anybody is going to disagree with that. But Michael, I was reading some of the responses. And for those who don't know, the way this works is Audrey Hale only took 2 classes at a time. The federal funding, Pell Grant funding, covered more than that. So at the end of every semester, they would send her, my understanding is based on the parents, a check for the remaining balance. And that's how she was getting money from the university. That's how she was using this federal Pell Grant money. And Michael, in your replies, people were saying, well, dang, when I was in college, I just used my Pell Grant money for a car. One guy said he used it to visit a girlfriend overseas.
I saw that
So
one.
I think that this is just another example of Americans learning how their taxpayer money is used, not only for waste, but in this case, literally for their destruction.
Yeah, we got, I don't know, 150, maybe close to 200 comments. And now some of them were saying, and we don't know if these are true or not, but they seem to make sense. One guy said, the guy you said, yeah, I used my Pell Grant money to visit my girlfriend. It was in Australia. That was a big one. Another person said, yeah, I used my Pell Grant money to buy food, which I thought was, kind of interesting. Some people, older people, well, I never got any Pell Grant money. This story must be wrong. These are people that went to college like in the 1970s or 1980s, and the standards have changed, which they don't know. And in the past couple decades, if there's excess money, the college gives it to the students, and that's what happened here with Audrey Elizabeth Hale.
That's exactly right. And over the course of years, by the way, because again, she was taking 2 classes a semester. I think it took her 5 or 6 years to graduate. Once she was 25, her parents' income was no longer used. And so her complete lack of income, $0 resulted in a significant amount of Pell Grants.
When this came out, because we have the audio transcript of that interview between... it was an interview, I think it was in June of 23, right immediately after the parents of the killer had claimed that there was no will left by Audrey Elizabeth Hale. Remember that? Right, even though we've seen evidence, pictures, that in fact she said, check my will. What exactly was that image she said? I've told you how I want my items dispersed. I think she did mention a will, actually. You remember that? Do you recall that, Tom?
Yes, it was in all caps. Please read my will. I'm telling you exactly how I want my items displayed. And she was very upset at the idea of any of her stuffed animals being put in the family basement.
So that little image that we've shown in our stories said, hey, check my will, and I'll tell you how these you should dispose of my property. The property would include the writings. Clearly, she wanted her writings to be, Audrey Elizabeth Hale wanted people to see her writings. No question about that.
Not only that, Michael, but we know from this latest release that, this is a sick person. She created her own Columbine tapes, a series of them. She wrote the series out in her notes. and she wanted those to be seen. She created, I think, she left them in triplicate. So this is somebody who left clear instructions for after her death.
But apparently, according to the parents, they couldn't find a will. Now, that's a little bit bizarre because we have a record of the documents being transmitted to the judge in Tennessee, the Chancery Court judge in Davis County, Leahy Miles, I think is her name, the one who was so eager to try and put me in jail, that one, called me and didn't ultimately do it, but wanted to. There's the inventory list that says will, right? In her in-camera document review. That's never been explained, but somehow before the probate cleared, the parents of the killer claimed that Audrey Elizabeth Hale died intestate without a will. And then if that happens, they claimed ownership of all her writings and then transferred it to this bizarre Covenant Parents Trust, right? Which they claimed then they had a copyright on all her diaries. And that became one of the arguments that the trial court judge, Leahy Miles, accepted. Now it's on appeal here. But bizarre, this all prompted me, Tom, to go back and to listen to that audio tape of the interview. And the parties were the attorney for the parents, as well as the guy in charge, Detective Bobby Samuels, the lead detective, but also, this may be new, I don't think we've ever reported this, Detective Miranda Vaughn, Vaughn, and now, at the time, Sergeant, but subsequently Lieutenant Chris Dickerson. These are a couple people that, by the way, the Butler Snow job, right, the report on the claims of misconduct, these are people that the Butler Snow attorney should have interviewed but didn't. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
It does add a new level of questions about the Covenant case. Remember, this attack happened in March 2023. It was only concluded earlier this year. I'm going to get the month wrong, but I want to say it was July of this year.
I think it was April. I think it was April.
That would make more sense. Yeah. April of this year. I remember it being early. And so this was an investigation that apparently lasted through multiple rounds of investigators. Bobby Samuels left the state of Tennessee, is what we were told by the department. Some of these other people got promotions. At one point, every investigator on the case was taken off the case in response to the leaked documents published by Stephen Crowder in 2023. So it just really makes one wonder, what was the day-to-day activity when it comes to the Covenant case for this extensive period when we've had such a number of detectives involved? And by the way, all to create a final finding document that said she's sane and she wanted to be famous, and that's basically the end of the story.
Ignoring the evidence that we saw that Detective Bobby Samuels got from Vanderbilt Medical Center, which said she has serious psychological problems, serious psychiatric problems. Tom, when we come back, we'll talk more about the revelations from the FBI release of the Covenant Killer documents, including what motivated her to go back to her school, Covenant School, and kill 6 people. Back with Tom Pappert after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com. The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Frederick Media Network.
This is a big deal.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We're talking with Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter, winner of the Dow Prize for the best local journalism in America. Tom, what I found interesting about the FBI releasing these documents, and I think we're up to like 1,500 out of 2,000 pages, and I have to say, well done, Kash Patel. You know, we were presented with a deal, if you will, that said, if you dropped your federal case, we'll give you, or the first of these, we'll give you 112 pages, most of which we already had and had released back in, I think, September of 24. But they basically had a deal going on with the Judicial Watch and said, look, if you guys drop your case in Middle Tennessee, we will ultimately deliver all of these documents to you. Guess what? They did. How about that? That's very impressive. And Kash Patel's done a great job, I think.
It is very impressive. And by the way, a lot of people don't like Kash Patel, and they're upset with how the FBI has been reformed under Trump. But there was no mandate for Kash Patel to do this. Christopher Wray would have fought this lawsuit until the end of time. Kash Patel, within his first, I think, 120 days, resolved it. So this is absolutely a moment to be thankful that Trump won and thankful that he put the right people in the right places.
So the latest tranche of documents, 232 pages, I guess it was, included information about her motivation for going to her former elementary school, Covenant Christian School here, a Covenant school, a Christian school in Nashville, and murdering 3 9-year-old kids and 3 staff members, just murdering them in cold blood. And so you found out in these documents what her motivation was. Tell us about that.
Well, Michael, she created, and this document, by the way, this latest series of writings goes back to late 2021, early 2022. And it was, I believe, in late 2021 that she created a series of pros and cons lists. She called them advantages and disadvantages. And she was considering 2 targets in particular, the second target actually being the Covenant School. And in her list of advantages, she wrote that it was, she had prior history at the school. She knew its layout, but she also listed that it was a bigger school, a private school, and a school/church, which meant more, quote, real estate. But the last item on her list was, quote, Christian school. And then she wrote in parentheses, hate religion. This is probably the clearest example of Hale stating that she attacked the school, at least in part, because of her feelings on Christianity. She wrote in earlier entries that we reported at the Tennessee Star that she viewed transgenderism and her occasional lesbian identity. She went back and forth for a couple years before settling on transgender. She said that that was oppositional to Christianity. She wrote, quote, I have suppressed and hid my real gender identity for so long, and a big contributor to it, the nemesis of my true peace within myself, is my spirituality of being a Christian. She wrote in another entry, I feel my Christianity is being crucially at threat and hangs on a slender rope in the balance. It is my sexuality that wants me to cut the rope. So this is, I think, in my mind, the clearest example that Metro Nashville Police Department was wrong. She was not motivated by just fame and notoriety. She held grudges against specific locations and people. She hated Christianity. And of course, we all saw in the pages first leaked by Crowder 2 years ago now that she hated little Christian white kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And so somehow Metro Nashville Police Department, in their big, thorough investigation, missed that part of it. But they had all these documents. They just missed it.
They missed it with, I guess, like 24 detectives over the course of 2 years, with people retiring, new people coming on, reviewing their work. A lot of, in my mind, unfortunate detective work.
So, well, I think actually my theory is the detective work was pretty good. I think that, like Bobby Samuels, the first lead detective, he got some really good information. And he was able to elicit a lot of that information, particularly the Vanderbilt Medical Center report that a psychiatric professional knew that she wanted to kill people and kill her father, but failed in their duty to warn. But he mysteriously left the force in early 2024. Metro Nashville Police Department spokesperson said he went out of state. We've been looking into this, Tom. I don't think he went out of state. I think his family's still here. I think he's still here. And I think we've been reaching out, and I think we're going to have a conversation with him at some point in the near future.
Well, I think so, and I hope so, because you are right. It's unfair to say that it was all bad detective work. He did some really fantastic work. We have that document, Bandy Psych. I think folks can read it on the Tennessee Star website, where he went through the case files or the psychological notes taken by Hale's therapist at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and again seemed to hone in on this moment where Hale told a doctor, I want to kill my father and I'm thinking about committing a mass shooting, but somehow the doctor, the physician, the psychiatrist, whatever it was in the room, neglected to tell the parents. Now, I would add that it is very strange that we were told that Samuels moved out of state, because yes, there is a lot of evidence all of a sudden we're finding that he is still within the state of Tennessee, maybe in the city of Nashville, but I won't go that far and say I know it as a fact. But it seems as though it may have been a standard retirement, and one would wonder why the Metro Nashville Police Department would mislead us about something as
and actually
seemingly inconsequential.
That's very interesting, because, the spokesperson there, Don Aaron, very straightforward. That piece of information claiming that Bobby Samuels went out of state, the first detective, we're looking at evidence that says probably not true. We'll get more on that later. Tom Pappert, thanks for joining us today. Outstanding reporting.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
Up next, E.J. Haast, former Minnesota residents, Is Minnesota a corrupt, failed state? The answer is yes. Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The Trump administration is not backing down one bit in its war on those it identifies as narco-terrorists.
The Southern Command says it's conducted a strike on a boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean. The military says the vessel was engaged in narco-trafficking operations, though it did not provide evidence to back up the claim. It says 2 people were killed, and that brings the reported death toll to at least 107 in 30 known boat strikes by U.S. forces in the waters off South America. And President Trump told reporters Monday
there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs.
And saying the U.S. wants responsible. I'm Ben Thomas.
Parts of Wisconsin are under 2 feet of snow, the result of a big winter storm. It pummeled the plains, the upper Midwest, and the Great Lakes before moving into parts of the Northeast. Travel on the roads and in the air was snarled, and there are hundreds of thousands of power outages. A National Guard deployment in New Orleans, authorized by President Trump, gets underway today, part of a heavy security presence for New Year's celebrations. Comes a year after an attack on Bourbon Street left 14 people dead. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell says the extra security is appreciated.
The National Guard, as you know, are expected to be in our city and in partnership with the city through Mardi Gras. Okay, so that is something that we do know, and we absolutely are welcoming of those added resources.
Some 350 Guard members will be hitting the streets of New Orleans through mid-February. A new Russian nuclear-capable missile system has been deployed to active service in Belarus, that according to the Russian Defense Ministry. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 89 points, while the Nasdaq trading 2 points lower, and the S&P is off 3. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here with Wesley Financial Group. My 78-year-old friend Linda called me yesterday. She bought a $40,000 timeshare in Nashville. She was told it was a great investment and that he would personally book all her vacations. All lies. She called our sales rep, Chris, the next morning at 4:57 a.m. to cancel, and she was told it was too late. You had your chance yesterday. Another lie. She has 10 days in Tennessee. I am in a war with the timeshare industry because people keep buying their lies, and they don't want me to help you. If you need a timeshare, I'm sure one of the 3,500 people that call my office weekly would love to give you one of theirs. Or go online and pay $1 for it, but stop paying $40,000 for lies. It's time to stop the insanity. Don't wait another day.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-364-7711. That's 800-364-7711. 800-364-7711.
Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Khalida Zia has died at the age of 80. Her rivalry with Sheikh Hasina defined Bangladeshi politics for a generation.
Like Hasina, Zia's premiership had been marred by allegations of corruption. She was jailed for 5 years when opposition leader in 2018. At 72, she had called the allegations politically motivated, telling her supporters, "I will be back. Do not worry and be strong." Her son, Tariq Rahman, had also been sentenced in absentia, but they were both acquitted of corruption charges earlier this year. Her son returned to Bangladesh for the first time in 17 years, just days before his mother's death. He will lead her party in the first elections since Hasina fled the country.
The BBC's Asadeh Mashiri. China's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Wang Yi, is slamming a record U.S. military sale to Taiwan. News and analysis, townhall.com. Federal air safety investigators are working to pinpoint the cause of the weekend mid-air collision of two helicopters over southern New Jersey.
Police in New Jersey, where two helicopters crashed Sunday, confirmed that the second pilot has also died. 65-year-old Kenneth Kirsch had survived what the FAA is investigating as a mid-air collision and was medevaced to the hospital but did not make it. The other pilot, 71-year-old Michael Greenberg, died at the scene. The pair were friends and were eating breakfast that morning at Sal's Filipinos Cafe at Hamilton Airport.
I saw one go down and then I saw the other one go down, and it was a little bit of disbelief.
The pilots were the only two aboard. I'm Julie Walker.
Australian police say an investigation that extended to the Philippines, investigation of two men accused of killing 15 people at a Sydney Jewish festival, has uncovered no evidence that they were part of a broader terrorist cell. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the one, the only, E.J. Haas.
Hello, hello.
It's Twixmas, right? Twixmas.
Yes, yes.
Between Christmas and New Year.
Yes, that weird time where you're kind of feeling bloated because you ate too much. You're ready to get on with the New Year stuff. You're like, all right, I'm going to diet today, but we still have another holiday and weekend to get through, so it's a little awkward.
I think you're required to do nothing for a period of time during Twixmas.
Yeah, except be on the radio and talk about crazy, crazy news stories.
Well, you're a former resident of the state of Minnesota. How long were you stuck up there?
12 years.
12
very long
years,
yeah.
But you left it. When you left it, Tim Walz was the governor there.
Correct.
Ooh.
Yep.
He was elected in 2018.
Yep. So I went through 2008, Obama, all of that. Al Franken, that crazy scenario. I saw the overthrow of Congressional District 2. Used to be solidly red. One of the more conservative districts in the state be taken over. And now Angie Craig runs that district. So, yeah, I've seen a lot.
In 2016, there was a period of time when we thought that Minnesota could go for Trump.
Yeah, no, I did not.
Yeah.
No, I had no delusion.
And it went down the tubes in 2020. It's not even close.
No.
Yeah.
But listen, it's primarily, and I stand on this hill. This is a hill I will die on. It is primarily due to fraud.
Yeah, Somali illegal voting.
Not just Somali, but heavily Somali in the cities.
Yeah, I think that's the case. And I think now we get back to, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
I believe, from everything I've read, that Minnesota is a corrupt, failed state.
100% agree. 100% agree. Listen, you can't have, do you remember it was late August of 2024, shortly after Governor Walz was announced as Kamala Harris's running mate for VP. And I came on this program and I told you about Feeding Our Future scandal.
You told us about
and
that.
the $250 million. And what did I say at the time? We're just scratching the surface.
Indeed.
This is just one of many fraudulent things happening in the state of Minnesota. And that wasn't new at the time. When I look back at being on radio in the Twin Cities, and doing reporting, living in Minnesota, I remember quite clearly and can point you to other people doing the same thing back in the day. Hey, our state's in trouble. Trying to get the attention of the attorney generals, trying to get the attention of literally anybody who would listen in media and national attention, because it wasn't being done at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't new, but I am very grateful for the work that Nick Shirley, this 23-year-old
kid,
YouTuber, investigative journalist, is doing, because he's bringing to
Yeah.
light something that many people have been working on for a good long time.
I think it's well over this, but he put up a 42-minute video over last week. When I checked yesterday, it had 110 million views. I think it's well up from that now.
Yeah, and I think we're ready to move to the next step on this. So it's one thing to go to the daycare centers. Remember, the fraud is so much more than daycare centers. It's healthcare centers. It's autism centers. It's restaurants and bodega type stores. It's all over the place. So we have to take it to the next level now. So I did see that Kristi Noem, DHS, or is that what's Secretary of
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security, was tweeting about, sending raids into these different centers.
Not just tweeting. I mean, they did it.
Yeah, they did it.
They've done something.
Which is fine and dandy. But I promise you, these people didn't do it all by themselves. This wasn't done by accident or in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Or like they figured it all out on their own. Nonsense. A good many of them barely speak English. Somebody helped them. So you want to hear my take on that?
I would love to hear your take on that. Who helped them?
Who helped them? Well, there are 5 agencies in the state of Minnesota that are responsible for oversight of fraud, oversight of funding distribution.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 agencies that should have caught this, but didn't. I say they were complicit. So
How could they not be?
Go raid those offices. You've got Attorney General Keith Ellison, Office of the
Number
Attorney
one.
General, right? Number 1. We know, however, that he has ties to, Muslim Brotherhood, Louis
Sure.
Farrakhan. He placates to the Somali populations for the votes. That's where he lives, in that District 5, the whole bit. So he's useless, no help whatsoever. Minnesota Department of Human Services.
Yep.
Currently, Shireen Gandhi is the temporary commissioner. Why? And I think this is important, because Jody Harpstead left in early 2025. Want to know who Jody Harpstead is?
I'm about to find out.
You are about to find out. Okay, so this woman took over in about 2019 for the Department of Health and Health Services or whatever. And as commissioner, she before that worked for, are you ready for this? Lutheran Social Services of Minnesota. She was the president and CEO of LSS. For those who don't know, LSS is heavily involved in the resettlement of refugees. They tend to go to places where there are lots of free stuff and social programs for the refugees.
So, back in 2013, at Breitbart, I wrote a series of stories on the unholy alliance between leftists, operators, the Democratic Party, and these, quote, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, all, the Catholic Charities, the Lutheran Services, Episcopal Ministries. And basically, it was a giant scam to bring in, through the Refugee Resettlement Program, which has been authorized since 1980, unqualified people.
Sure.
And then get involved in all sorts of benefits to them. What changed is around the time Bill Clinton became president, they started bringing in people from third world blank holes that are largely Muslim.
Right. Largely Muslim, don't have any desire or intent to assimilate with American culture whatsoever.
Yeah.
They take over entire neighborhoods. You've heard me tell the story. I poll watched in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood many times. The story, I could go on about all of those stories. So what I'm saying is Jody Harpstead, the Office of the Inspector General, James Clark.
Inspector General, that's number 3.
Well, that's actually under the Department of Human
okay.
Services.
That's still number 2.
So that's number 2. Number 3, Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, BCA.
Is that like our Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
Yes. Yep.
Got
Very
it.
similar. Drew Evans is the superintendent there. Oversees investigations into financial crimes and state program fraud.
Well, hello.
So where's that guy?
What's that guy been doing for
Right?
8 years?
Where's that guy? I want to see raids by DOJ, FBI, whoever is responsible
On these groups.
on these offices, because I promise you, if you go in there and do that, you'll find more.
Number 4.
2 more. Office of Legislative Auditor.
Oh, yes. Then
Judy Randall.
I'm well aware of the Office of Legislative Auditor. They actually used to do some decent work.
Yeah.
In the 2010s.
These are all state agencies that are responsible. I mean, it literally says in their description, identifying fraud risks in state agencies and programs.
Hello.
So there's that one.
And then what's the 5th one?
Minnesota Management and Budget, MMB. Erin Campbell is the commissioner. It's supposed to be internal controls, financial operations, and fraud risk management.
They missed it.
They missed it all.
Hold it. But a 23-year-old kid was able to find it.
Well, okay, here's the deal, though. It should be found easily. So
it was found easily, but it wasn't reported in a way that people acted upon it.
Correct. Someone has to be complicit in these agencies in order to make that happen. I'll explain more of that. I hear the music, so I'll explain more of that
when we
after
come
the break.
back. Stick around, folks, because it is getting better and better. EJ Haas, all the deal on the fraud in Minnesota. You're not going to get this anywhere else. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ponder this. Most of us are familiar with social media influencers. You know, people that claim expertise on some probably irrelevant topic. Many hours are wasted following people online who do not add an ounce of value to our lives. There is only one influencer who matters, and you should be following him and his messages every day. He holds the keys to our peace. He shows us how to live lives of meaning. He is there to help us carry our daily crosses. He is Jesus Christ, and he is the influencer extraordinaire. Are you one of his followers? Or are you wasting time with useless information that will not bring peace and love to your life? Ask the Lord each day to provide you with spiritual influence that will change your life forever. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. Then borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. E.J. Host.
Yes, sir.
More details. Let's talk about this. You just outlined 5 state agencies that should have been investigating this fraud, should have known about it, easily knew about it.
Easily. In fact, I would go so far to say as they couldn't have not known about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that primarily is because think about what it takes to get a childcare license in any state,
Mm-hmm.
right? But specifically in Minnesota, you have to have qualified staff. You have to have, formal education. There's obviously funding response, to get the licensing, which, they would have to have prior to opening and getting the funds from these programs. Think about also what it takes to run it. You have to have certain amount of space for your outdoor play. You have to have a certain number of bathrooms. You have to have a certain number of toys, age appropriate, cleaning supplies. How about the food? They have to instead of going to the doors now of all of these empty daycare centers, which I saw this morning that they are starting to
Suddenly,
bus kids
they're
in
bussing
now,
kids in,
which I just found hilarious because it's not like he just picked one day during Christmas break to go there. This has been happening for
But
years.
none of these places had any outdoor play.
No
area.
outdoor play, very few windows. I'll bet you anything if they would raid the offices of these 5 agencies, they're going to find whistleblowers, people who are like, I was told to do X, Y, and Z. And, I tried to raise the alarm on this and that. Because, again, it's not just the daycare centers, but they have to feed the children, do they not? So if they have to feed children in the daycare center, then they should have receipts for all of the meals purchased, correct?
They should.
And they have to report those things in financial statements and all sorts of other things. So go after them, go after the bank accounts. I promise you, if you shut down the bank accounts of all of these suspected fraudulent locations, whether it's healthcare, Medicaid fraud, daycare fraud, whatever it is, shut off the money, and all of a sudden you'll see the cockroaches scramble like crazy.
But back to this point, these 5 agencies, let's go through the Attorney General's office, Department of Human Services, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, is that what it's called?
BCA.
BCA, the Legislative Auditor, and the Management and Budget Office. All 5 of those agencies, they all could listen to reports and had duties. Back in 2014, a member of the U.S. House was identifying these as problems. 2018, the local CBS affiliate was reporting on it. And Alpha News, our friends up there, were our alumni of the Star News Network. Anthony Gudkowski is the editor-in-chief now. They've been reporting on this for
Liz
many
Collin
years.
has been phenomenal reporting on this forever. And it did gain the attention, remember, especially because of the Feeding Our Futures thing, of U.S. Senate and House and Oversight Committee hearings. In September 2024, this was led by Senator Sessions. It was supposed to start at 10 a.m. There was a committee hearing. Everybody was late because we can't get our senators there by 10 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Mhm.
This is the problem. We have Republicans who don't really care very much about doing their jobs. Anyway, one of the witnesses there was Oris Williams Brown. At the time, she was Chief Operating Officer of the U.S. Government Accountability Office. Guess what she is now? As of yesterday, she is the head of the GAO. As of yesterday. So back in 2024, September-ish, they were doing a hearing. She was telling state agencies and other agencies how to oversee these types of things and make sure there wasn't any fraud.
Right.
So it's not like this is new. Nick Shirley didn't just like come up with it out of the blue. 2013, another good example. Department of Health and Human Services launched a refugee assistance program. Are you ready? To teach refugees how to start a home child care business. It's called RFCCMED.
Or how to engage in fraud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So while you have the Government Accountability Office telling people, hey, this is how you look out for fraud, we have the Department of Health and Human Services teaching refugees how to commit fraud. That is what's happening with our tax dollars.
So, okay, let's go to the next step. So the mainstream media has ignored this. And now there had been some local television reporting on this, but not so much.
Yeah.
In 2018, there was a little bit. Liz Collins, wasn't she with one of these?
She was. I think she was.
With one of the local TV stations.
Yeah, don't
She
quote
left
me.
about 2 years ago.
And she has done independent reporting now and is really good at it.
But the other kind of synoptic local television stations in Minneapolis haven't reported on this at all.
Yeah.
Even though it's since Liz Collins.
Around the edges. And they make sure to tell us, don't hold it against all the Somalis, though, because they're so vibrant and important to our community. It's like,
what, 80% of them are on welfare or some kind of government assistance.
Multiple assistance programs. Here's something that nobody's asking. Why are we helping refugees set up daycare centers? Many of them will tell you they're Somali speaking only. They do not speak English. So they need these culturally appropriate things. Where did we hear that before? With the autism center fraud. So we're helping them set up. Why are we paying for their daycare anyway? Why is that a program that the government is paying for, whether it's our federal tax dollars being funded through state funding? Because that's what happens. We all pay into the system. The federal government puts some money into the states based on appropriations and whatnot, and then the state divvies that money out to whoever they want. That's how Medicaid works, all of it. So why are we doing that? We are already paying for their schooling, obviously, for them to go to school. And in some places, even here in the state of Tennessee, sadly, we are paying for, culturally appropriate schools instead of the culture being the American culture and just welcoming everyone. I don't know why we have to segregate. That seems absurd to me. But we're paying for now their daycare. That doesn't make any sense. We're paying for food. We're paying for transportation. Some of these transportation companies are now coming out as being part of the fraud scam.
Yeah, we saw like a fleet of vehicles which never moved.
Yeah, they were like covered in snow.
Right.
And hadn't moved for a while. So, why are we paying for so much? They can't eat without tax dollars. They have phones with our tax dollars. They have daycare with our tax dollars. They have transportation. They have health care. Like, are they doing anything on their own?
No, they're not.
And by they, I don't just mean Somalis. Let's be really clear about this. This is happening in every state.
Yep.
It is not just the Somali community in downtown Minneapolis, okay? We're paying for...
They're the most egregious, I think, and visible.
Right. And they're the
Now.
ones who are currently under investigation because it is so egregious. But we are paying for a lot of things for perfectly able-bodied people. And so I hope we don't lose that in this conversation that... yes, this is where we're focused right now and it's a good place to focus, but let's get on these agencies for not doing their jobs. let's find some whistleblowers that there have to be people.
These
good
5
people.
agencies you talked about.
Yeah.
In Minnesota. If you ask them, are you doing your job? They would say, we are doing our job. Their job is to cover it up.
Right.
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 Don't you see?
And ask for more money every year.
Yeah.
We have so many people applying for these types of businesses. Now we need even more money and even more assistance. And they get it to the tune of millions, even billions of dollars.
So nobody's doing basic audits. Nobody.
Well, I would say yes and no. There's a couple of things. One, with the Feeding Our Future scandal, that reached such a fever pitch they had to. There's like almost 100 people who've been criminally charged now. Some are already in jail. Some were bribing judges. Like, that's another whole story. So there was that. But there's also, one of the daycare centers that was under scrutiny because of this latest video was... like, I don't know how you don't say charged, but it was depicted as having what's the right word? They had violations.
Yeah.
So they were recorded as having violations, like 90 different violations. How are they allowed to still operate?
Yeah, they shouldn't
Why
be.
was the funding not cut off?
When we come back, we're going to hear from Harmeet Dillon. She has some
Yeah.
ideas about this. Back after this.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com. or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Hi, everyone. EJ Host here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back in studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the one, the only EJ Host.
Thank you, sir.
EJ, my favorite Department of Justice employee right now, or official, is Harmeet Dillon.
Me too, for lots of reasons, not the least of which that she and I share a hobby.
Knitting.
Knitting. Mm-hmm.
But Harmeet is really good. She's not my favorite just because she had agreed that her firm will represent us. Mm-hmm. Her private firm. This is before she got nominated.
And by us, you mean Star News.
The Tennessee Star, Star News. In the event that we are ever sued in a ridiculous lawsuit for copyright infringement by the Covenant Parents Trust, they will meet a legal buzzsaw. The Ronald Coleman works for Harmeet's firm, and they will represent us and destroy that argument on copyright claims. But it's not just that. She's a thinking person, and she's an honest person. She's also a highly effective person.
Yes, a highly effective communicator. She gets her point across in a way that I wish I could sometimes.
So what I like about her just in her recent activities, as she's the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. Mm-hmm. And all the lefties in that department got so mad at her just because she's doing her job. Like, they all left.
Yeah.
I mean, the department, and thank goodness they left.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for cleaning house and starting over, as we just displayed for the previous half hour. Mm-hmm. Probably needs to happen in the entire state of Minnesota. So not surprising it would happen in her department at the U.S. level.
She also had a couple things. She communicated, the way she communicates with people.
Yeah.
She doesn't sit stiffly at a lectern. Her social media is fabulous.
Yeah, she engages with the public, and I think that's been lacking in previous administrations. So she's not alone in that, but she's obviously sticking to it and making sure that she's engaging with people who are asking her questions. In fact, she even gets frustrated sometimes. She's like, "Come on," She'll be like, "Are you going to make me put down my knitting needles and respond to this nonsense?" It's funny.
She also is really good in understanding the politics of America today.
Agreed.
She put out a tweet the other day, said, "Okay, look, all of you knucklehead conservative influencers who are attacking the Trump cabinet members, knock it off. It's not doing anything.
It's not helpful.
All it's doing is you're trying to create, revenue for your own stupid site.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very good approach.
Yeah, it's not very stately. I mean, it's happening a lot. We can disagree with the administration and bring up, points that we want changed or whatever, but increasingly, probably since the summer, probably just the last, fall and into the winter, we've seen, breaking and bombshell and all these emojis of lights and stars and things like that. That's kind of how you tell that those are social media posts being paid for, whether it's just engagement clicks or they're sponsored by somebody to post these kind of nasty things.
Yeah. And she's right on point with that. Absolutely on point. So now she's got this clip she's talking about looking into all of these fraudulent activities in Minnesota. Let's listen to her.
Elon's posting about it. So I appreciate the statute of limitations. I think you're getting to a point that the base wants accountability. They want results. And it's not just about the DOJ. It's not just about Pam Bondi. You guys are doing great work at the Department of Justice in a lot of different ways. And I know, because I've spoken with people, there's a lot coming down the pike. So we can put a pin in that if you'd like, but there's a lot coming down the pike. Could you at least assure our audience that you guys are working on stuff that they're going to like?
Absolutely, but let me continue the theme here of the false narrative, which is that no one's going to go to jail. We aren't doing anything. We haven't done anything. Where are the arrests? This is nonsense, because the Attorney General and under the DOJ, we have actually indicted 99 people so far, and we're just getting started in the Minnesota Somali fraud rings. So far, there are over 60 convictions and pleas, hundreds of millions of dollars involved in restitution. And, additional collateral crimes, including attempted bribery by one of these fraudsters, trying to deliver $120,000 cash to a juror's home and things like that. And so, we're also uncovering, there's news of similar types of fraud happening in Ohio and other places where the Somali community is, because apparently this is a type of fraud that they're talking amongst themselves. And it isn't just Somali fraud, there's other fraud. I firmly believe that there's been state organized fraud, frankly, in a way in California, where Victor Davis Hanson talked about this recently on his podcast, where he's talking about, sort of inflated reimbursement requests for ambulances from the state, and then the state sort of pockets the difference, and, all kinds of crazy stuff like this. Medicaid fraud, there's autism fraud, and on and on and on. And so we are so dedicated to this. They're career prosecutors. It's not a political thing. This is the type of thing that they do day in and day out. And the Attorney General is so dedicated to it.
Okay, I was just talking about how good she is on social media. And actually, that radio program their audio wasn't so hot. But she made the excellent point. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, so I would like to hear her make that point, though, that it wasn't the Trump administration and this current DOJ leadership that started all of those indictments and criminal cases in Minnesota. She was talking about feeding our futures that I was telling you back in 2024. This has been happening for years, that they've been making arrests and whatnot. So the arrest started under President Biden, and I think that's important to note. It doesn't mean that this current DOJ isn't taking that ball and running with it. Obviously, they are. They've sped up some of the investigations. They're expanding now beyond just the feeding our futures, that COVID meal scam that was going on, to include the autism centers, to include the child care, the transportation, et cetera, to, expand into other states. So credit where it's due. Yes, they are doing big and good things. But that was Colvett, right? Andrew Colvett. That was the show.
Think so, yeah.
And his point was clear, though, that there's not enough kind of visible arrests. Like these raids that they're doing, I'm going to reiterate this over and over, that they're doing on the child care centers. Great. That raises awareness. But the next step is now for the DOJ or the FBI or whoever is responsible going in and actually raiding these agencies that are responsible for dishing out that
evidence,
money.
Getting a search warrant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has to happen. We need to see some heads roll. We actually need to see a program shut down. We need that. And they all have this cabinet and the president and the vice president. They have a voice that people listen to on social media and will take it and run with it. Take advantage of that. Please show us some heads rolling, because I do agree that we're kind of over it, right? Like James Comer yesterday was on several news programs and on social media basically saying that, we're going to have some hearings.
James, let's have some hearings. Let me get on Fox News. Comer.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of being one of those naysayers on social media, but I'm going to stand by it. Like, yay, whoopee ding. You're going to get some fundraising.
It's got to be Department of Justice.
It has to be.
But this raises the larger problem, which is blue states are largely thumbing their nose at federal statutes. And it's not just in immigration enforcement.
No, it's in everything.
It's
and
in
we have
everything.
activist judges we have to fight, too, at the same time. So
well,
it's not easy.
Speaking of Minnesota, here's a Minnesota judge. Somebody a Somali was convicted.
Oh, yeah.
Of $7 million of fraud.
$7.2 million.
Unanimous jury. And this Minnesota state judge threw out the verdict.
Right.
What are you talking about?
So why even have a trial then? Like, I thought our system was jury of our peers.
It undermines the rule of law.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I think that will be appealed.
Of course.
But this is a mindset.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
And we got to remember, too, like, Minnesota has less than 10,000 beds in their prison system. The number of people who are involved in fraudulent schemes like this, whether it's the Somali community, I told you there are other communities also, plus the people who work for the government who are going to be complicit in these things. Probably if they emptied every bed, we wouldn't have enough room for them all.
Not even close.
So we've got to get to the point where, okay, you're here on TPS, temporary protective status.
Boom.
Gone. You were not native born. You have another visa status, or you have naturalized citizen status. There's a way to get you out too. And it's legal. You have felony counts against you because of these fraudulent things. You can go to. So we're going to have to get to the point where we start deporting people that would otherwise kind of fly under the radar and not get deported.
I'm with you on that. How happy are you that you moved to Tennessee?
Oh, so happy. It's great, though? Here, personal story. So I obviously still have many friends. I lived there 12 years, and I was pretty heavily involved in politics and state legislature and things like that. And every time something pops up, I get, untold numbers of texts from friends saying like, boy, you were so right to get out of here. Aren't you glad you left? Hey, I got another tip for you. Can you expose this, that, whatever? So, there are people who are still stuck there that wish they weren't. Family, kids, school, jobs.
We're gonna stick with Minnesota when we come back. The governor's race.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Tim Walz? Will he be indicted? Will he run? Will he be impeached? And on the Republican side, will anybody have a chance at it? We'll talk with our good friend E.J. Host, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, when we get back.
Ponder this, Judgment Day, the day you go before the Lord face to face. For many of us, this day seems like a long way away, and we are told that all of us will be in a better place when we die. What many of us forget is that our God is a God of justice. On Judgment Day, you will stand before the Lord and account for all of your thoughts, words, and actions during your time here on earth. You might be thinking that you're not such a bad dude, you didn't kill anyone, and you went to church every now and then, so you've earned your ticket to heaven. Hold that thought, as the Lord has told us what we need to get through those pearly gates. We must believe in Him, be baptized, follow Him by keeping His commandments, love Him, and love our friends and enemies. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you possess, how many awards or accolades are on your resume, or how much money you have, nor how high you are on the ladder of success. Judgment Day is real, and you are not judged by a jury of your peers. Prepare each day for Judgment Day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Frederick Media Network.
This is a big deal.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, E.J. Host, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, former resident for 12 long years of Minnesota. She was able to escape to the greatest state in America, Tennessee.
Yeah, we call ourselves political refugees from the state of Minnesota, Stan.
Minnesota Stan, yeah. So, okay, by the way, somebody out in the listening audience needs to come up with a new name for the NFL Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. The Minnesota Somali Grifters, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean...
The Minnesota Jazz Hands.
Listen, that might work. But I feel bad for the Vikings fans because they're always like the most optimistic at the beginning of every season. Mm-hmm. And then you just see their health and love of the game decline throughout the whole season. Yeah, I always feel bad for them.
So let's talk a little bit about the 2026 gubernatorial race in Minnesota. Tim Walz is finishing out his second term, and we probably won't get to it right now, but maybe when you're back on Friday, we'll talk next Tuesday, rather, not this Friday, next Tuesday, we might talk about whether he'll be indicted and whether he'll be impeached. Actually, he should be impeached and indicted.
He really should.
But we'll see. But let's talk about the political side of it. He's the only guy in the incumbent. He's the only guy currently listed as the candidate. They call it the Democratic Farm Labor Party up there.
Correct.
DFL.
Yes. Yep, it's a little different. DFL there. And, what they do is they have these endorsing conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's usually like the most active, both parties,
Mm-hmm.
the most active, the most dedicated, and sometimes the kookiest, right? Like there's a lot of good people who become delegates. You have something called a BPOU. It's a basic political operating unit, real small, your little neighborhood kind of precinct
like a
type
precinct,
thing.
yeah.
And then, you get elected as a delegate there by, your peers, your friends, your neighbors. And then you move up to the next level. Then you move up to the state level or whatever. And so these are people who have multiple Saturdays to sit around and talk politics and yell at each other for, months at a time. They have multiple Saturdays where they have
Nothing
to
better
sit and
to
do
do.
that. And then there's always this push by those delegates and the state parties to quote unquote abide by the endorsement.
Abide by the endorsement.
So what they're trying to do is say, here are your most active supporters, and these people have endorsed such and such candidate. All other candidates should forego the primary and just step out of the way.
Republicans, now, Walz has won fairly easily.
Yeah.
Previously. In current December of 2025, early this month, 48% approval, 48% disapproval, according to Survey USA.
I'm looking at one from Alpha News and RMG as of the 21st, 57% disapproval rating.
So I think that's gone up of late.
Yeah, I think his approval is most definitely declining, and that is before the Nick Shirley thing. So he's going to be in big trouble.
But he's still probably going to be the nominee if he's not indicted. If he's not impeached and indicted.
Yeah, I can't imagine somebody else is going to step into it. They have a lot of kind of strange deadlines with the parties and things like that too. So you got to kind of pay attention. What was interesting was that Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, who she's that
Democrat
quite
leftist.
Famously known for wearing, the T-shirt with the giant knife on it about trans kids.
She was wearing a hijab and talking in Somali.
Oh, lately, yeah, she's making.
Let me just get to the Republican challengers. Let me run through them. Lisa DeMuth, the Speaker of the Minnesota House. Scott Jensen, former state senator, 2022 Republican nominee. Kendall Qualls, healthcare executive, also 2022 gubernatorial candidate. And Mike Lindell,
the My Pillow guy.
My Pillow guy. What do you think? Any of them would have a shot?
Well, I think Lindell, if he hasn't already, there's rumors that he's getting the Trump endorsement, so that will probably help some.
I've met Lindell, nice guy, but he's
got no legislative experience whatsoever,
not only
and
that,
he's a little weird.
He's more than a little weird. I mean, I like him, but I wouldn't go into business with him. Right. Because he does a lot of advertising on Fox and et cetera. But his business, which is a lot of employees up there, his business is very stretched right now. Now he's been boycotted by big retailers.
I mean
I got that.
Yeah.
But he also lost. He's doing this election stuff, and he lost. He's got like a $5 million judgment against him because he wouldn't pay something off a bet. I think. I mean, okay, Trump might endorse him. I don't know. I just don't think. I don't think he's got the chops politically.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I stand by. None of this really matters if we don't get some sort of voter integrity stuff in place. Right. We've got to make it a national thing that you have to show proof of citizenship to vote in literally any election across America. And I know that's unpopular, saying, "Oh, states' rights and whatever." However, these states are taking federal tax money, and so it does affect all of us.
If Lindell gets the Trump endorsement, will he be the nominee?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not because of what I said before, where it's a very small select group of party activists, and sometimes they tend to be pretty kooky, and it's hard to gauge what.
On that note, we will see you a week from
Tuesday.
today.
Happy
in the
New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. The great E.J. Host. When we come back, Clint Brewer, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. We'll be back after this.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
This is a big deal.
What if you had a plan to build in? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis, AM 760, AM 730. The Flame.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The powerful winter storm that brought snow, ice, and high winds across the plains and upper Midwest continues to move to the east. National Weather Service meteorologist Andrew Orison is tracking the storm.
We did have the most recent winter storm that did produce areas of ice, and that actually did produce some power outages across portions of Michigan and especially across New York State. The conditions are improving when it comes to that, but nevertheless, we still do have some strong winds that will be potentially causing maybe a few more power outages across portions of the Northeast, but at this point, the worst does seem to be over.
President Trump has been talking with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu about how to implement Phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire. The president wants to move quickly, but says Hamas must disarm. At their meeting in Mar-a-Lago yesterday, the president also said Iran should not try to reconstitute its nuclear program.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. But hopefully that's not happening.
And the president confirmed a U.S. military strike on a docking facility in Venezuela, where he claimed boats were loaded with illicit drugs. U.S. home prices rose in October, but at the slowest annual rate in more than 13 years. Government data show home prices were up just 1.7% last month. It's another positive sign in a housing market that has been too expensive for many would-be homebuyers. More artists have canceled performances at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. after President Donald Trump's name was added to the facility. Kennedy Center President Richard Grenell claimed the cancellations were politically motivated and that the center has received inquiries from artists willing to perform there. More details at townhall.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Correspondent Ed Donahue reports a business legend is stepping aside.
A new year means a new era at Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett isn't going anywhere. He'll remain chairman and plans to continue coming into the office every day. He's turning over the top spot to Greg Abel. Investors will be watching closely to see what changes Abel might make in Berkshire's trajectory, but they don't expect any seismic shifts. Buffett grew Berkshire from a struggling New England textile mill that he started buying for up to $7.60 a share in 1962 to the massive conglomerate that it is today, with shares that go for more than $750,000 a pop. Abel has already shown himself to be a more hands-on manager than Buffett, but he still follows the Berkshire model of autonomy for acquired companies. I'm Ed Donahue.
Stocks are trending lower again today. The Dow Jones off by 112 points at midday. News and analysis at townhall.com. Here's the midday Wall Street Business Report.
There are some hopeful signs for America's real estate market.
Pending home sales in the U.S. surged in November to their highest level in 3 years. The National Association of Realtors says sales rose 3.3% last month after October sales were revised upward. It's the best performance since February 2023. The numbers suggest improving affordability conditions for home buyers. George Williams, Washington.
Looks like Wall Street is treading water as we count down to the new year. The benchmarks opened virtually unchanged this morning after futures bounced between small gains and modest losses ahead of the opening bell. It was a mixed open for European stocks. Asian shares slipped as some regional markets wrapped up their trading for the year. I'm Rich Thomason.
And I'm Greg Clugston. More on these stories at Town Hall.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome to Hour 3 of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show on the penultimate day of 2025. We are here in studio with our good friend, Clint Brewer, a fully recovered journalist and a public affairs specialist. Clint, it is a delight to have you in here as we wrap up the year. Quite an eventful year, hasn't it?
It's been a great year. It's been an eventful year, and I'm happy to be here with you on the second to last day of 2025.
A clear communicator.
Yeah.
Second to last, penultimate. Making sure our listeners...
Penultimate's a great word, though.
I use it whenever I can, which is
it always reminds me of the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It wasn't the penultimate supper, it was the final supper. You know?
That's a good line. That's a good line. Okay, I have a fun story to start off with. In Middle Tennessee, Williamson County was named after a signer of the Constitution, Hugh Williamson from North Carolina. You know, North Carolina, I mean, until Tennessee became a state in the 1790s, it was part of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then the Watauga Territory carried all the way into Middle Tennessee.
And in the terms of the founding and expansion of Middle Tennessee, you know, after the Revolutionary War, there were any number of veterans who the new government didn't have any cash money,
right,
to pay veterans for their service. And a lot of them, served in the Revolutionary War and didn't get paid and had back pay. And I mean, there was a big rebellion about that in Massachusetts in the 1780s, Shays Rebellion. And a lot of, it's interesting because you think about the heroism of many of these men who fought in the Revolutionary War and came with nothing and left with nothing.
Right.
And didn't get a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stories about that historically.
Well, they left with their freedom.
They left with their freedom. Good point.
Yeah.
But financially, many of them lived lives of poverty.
Right.
Thereafter. But it's interesting. The government had one thing, had ownership of a lot of land.
Right.
Right. Which they'd taken it from the Native Americans or had cut deals with them in various ways. And so, in my family history, I know that this would be like 5 great-grandfathers ago. I had an ancestor who was a captain in the militia in the Revolutionary War. and in what's now Westchester County, New York, and he was given a land grant in upstate New York. And his son went in. His son Cornelius Bevere went there and established our family up there in upstate New York back in the 1840s. Now here in Tennessee, a Revolutionary War veteran by the name of Abram Murray, Maury.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. I think he may have been like a colonel in the Revolutionary War from North Carolina. He got a land grant and got a whole bunch of land in what is now Williamson County. And he came out, and in 1799, he founded the city of Franklin, named it after Benjamin Franklin, one of the early, the first American, according to Great American, who lived from 1707, passed away in 1790. But that's where the name of Franklin came from. And of course, Murray County, Maury, named after Revolutionary War veteran Abram Murray.
Right.
This is a long way to get to the point, which is the following.
Mike, do you have any other way?
Apparently not on the penultimate day of 2025.
Get it all in, Mike. You only got one day left.
So this I like a lot. So there really, if you go to the city of Franklin, there is no physical commemoration of Ben Franklin as of the moment.
I guess I always just assumed it was named after, some more local person.
Yeah. No, it was named after the Benjamin Franklin.
It's remarkable. I had no idea.
In fact, I think there are two city or county or village names that are the most popular names, and I think every state has one of these. Every state would have a Washington or a Franklin, and then probably there are a couple: Jefferson, Madison, Monroe.
And we've got a Washington County here in Tennessee.
Yeah, so everybody sort of has that, but there's been no recognition of Benjamin Franklin until this is really spectacular. And we ought to try to get the donor to this group. The city of Franklin, this is a story that we are just publishing. Let me just say, approved, published now. Or just filed. But it's a great story. The city of Franklin, Tennessee is set to unveil a new public statue honoring its namesake, Benjamin Franklin, on Saturday, January 17th at the Williamson County Archives and Museum. The dedication, of course, coincides with the 250th anniversary of the U.S. and what would have been Ben Franklin's 320th birthday.
Wow.
Born in 1707 in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, you'd think more of the high schools would have mascots.
Yeah. Well, he was born in 1707, so, this would be...
He invented a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, maybe a 319th. Anyways, the bronze sculpture titled Ben on a Bench depicts the founding father seated on a park bench, reading the Constitution. He was a delegate to the Constitution. And, of course, famously, perhaps apocryphally, when he emerged in September of 1787 from the convention hall in Philadelphia, a socialite in Philadelphia asked him, "What sir have you given us?" To which he answered, "A republic if you can keep it."
Right.
Still an important statement today.
Is there a flamboyant-looking French woman from the court sitting next to him or anything?
There ought to be, don't you think? Now, this work was created by renowned Colorado-based sculptor George Lundeen. An earlier version of the design was commissioned in 1985. He's done various versions of Ben Franklin. But apparently this particular version became available. And Pamela L. Lewis, who's a longtime Middle Tennessee resident, she's the founder CEO of Nashville's PLA Media. They're big in the music world.
Okay.
And was a former vice mayor, I think, of Franklin. Moved here in 1993. She bought the statue She acquired this statue after learning it had become available, and now she's giving it to the museum. It's positioned outside the archives and museum, facing the historic downtown post office at 5 Points. That is really a great...
What a great story.
What a great positioning.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody who's from Middle Tennessee knows where 5 Points is. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really appropriate, super interesting. We should always remember our founding fathers given the opportunity.
Yeah.
People don't understand, I don't think, two things. One, how much Revolutionary War history actually is in this area.
Oh, yeah.
And then two, I don't think they exactly understand what the Southern colonies' contributions were to winning the war.
A great deal.
I mean,
actually,
the battles in South Carolina, what are now South Carolina, North Carolina, and East Tennessee, actually changed the course of the war. Kings Mountain, Cowpens. I mean, Southerners and Appalachian men really turned the tide.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some foreign incursions by American military. Of late, Venezuela. Trump just announced it.
Okay.
Back after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Clint Brewer, on this penultimate day of 2025, we'll talk now a little bit about foreign policy and Donald Trump. Of course, you know, he's been very active in foreign policy. He had on Sunday, he had a phone call with Vladimir Putin and then met in person with Vladimir Zelensky on the Ukraine-Russia deal. You know, he's been trying. I don't think either of those parties really are interested in peace, but I mean, it's been ongoing.
He's making the effort, which is more than the last president did.
He had Bibi Netanyahu down at MAGA, down at Mar-a-Lago on Monday.
Trying to keep that peace intact.
Yeah, very busy. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, you see this?
Which part?
Well, she's gone on The View. Her last day in Congress is January 5th. You know why January 5th? Because that will qualify her, 5 years of service, qualifies her for a pension.
Ah.
That's why.
The old government pension, 5 years.
The old government pension.
Let's not get out of there without making sure we can get paid.
Yeah, really. And so she does an interview with the New York Times. Mm-hmm. You know, a very pro-Trump operation. And she attacks Donald Trump for actually, you know, not just being only focused on America. Well, you know, he's commander-in-chief, and he's in charge of American foreign policy. Seems kind of bizarre to me.
Well, I mean, look, American presidents have a broad swath of responsibilities. And if there's not peace in key places in the world, it affects people back here at home. And, you know, our best presidents from both sides of the aisle have been deeply engaged in both domestic and foreign policy. And that's what I see here.
Who would have known that Marjorie Taylor Greene is headed toward Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney territory? Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, when she first started sort of going off script, you know, I thought, okay, I certainly there's a large faction of the conservative base that doesn't want us involved in foreign wars.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Like, I do get that.
That's a very American thing, actually.
Yeah.
It's a very George Washington kind of thing.
Yeah, and I do understand that, but it sort of gives the air of maybe somebody who didn't get enough attention when they wanted it, or it just... It seems...
Yeah.
Look, if you're a conservative, I don't care what stripe of conservative you are, going on The View is... really not on the menu.
No, not gonna work.
No, talking the New York Times. I mean, lots of people talk the New York Times. I think that's, you know, within bounds. But
well, if they
some of the other media she's doing, it just looks like she's trying to set up a book tour or monetize whatever's next.
So if the New York Times wanted to talk to me about, Kilmar Abrego Garcia or the Covenant Killer Manifesto, I would talk to them, but I would record the conversation.
Well, look, New York Times is like most media companies. It's in transition. Certainly its editorial board has a particular slant, but here's the thing. It always has.
Yeah.
Go
back to the 1930s.
It always has. So
it was very pro-Stalin.
Like the New York Times is just being the New York Times, right? And I think anybody who appreciates the written word can look at it and go, well, that's still the best written American newspaper out there. I mean, it's very well done. I use its cooking section all the time.
Or crossword puzzles.
I mean, look, there's a lot to like about the New York Times. I get it, though, that conservatives don't like the slant of the editorial page.
Now, speaking of President Trump, interesting, he launched an attack, a military attack. He authorized a military attack, not just on those boats, those narco-trafficking boats in the Caribbean, bringing, you know, bad stuff to America. Apparently, there was an attack on land in Venezuela. I think it may have been a port or something like that. Let's play his clip on this.
Can you say anything more about the explosion in Venezuela that you mentioned in the radio interview? Did the military do that? Can you share any more details about
Well, it doesn't matter, but there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
Is that the only strike that the U.S. has done?
I don't want to comment on that.
Okay, so basically he's saying that we hit boats in a dock.
Yeah, a staging area.
Yeah, staging area.
For trafficking, right.
I'm fine with that.
I don't understand why anybody's not, honestly. I mean, look, Venezuela is barely hanging on as a country. It's remarkably, it's incredibly poorly managed.
Mm-hmm. It's a narco-terrorist regime.
Yeah, I mean, it's people
yeah.
are not the primary consideration of the government down there, and this is not without precedent. I mean, presidents from both parties over the decades have done these kind of incursions into Central and South America to stem the tide of drugs to this country. This is not new.
Did I ever tell you that I've spent a summer in Venezuela once?
No.
I did. In high school, between my junior and senior years, I was down there as an exchange student. And this was when it was actually not run by communists.
Right.
A great country.
Well, yeah, and I know people there. I have friends there, and it is a great country, and I have colleagues there that I work with, and they're wonderful people.
The family that I stayed with, all of they had two sons. They've all moved back. They've moved to the United States years ago.
Right.
And one of my closest friends lived in a section of Caracas called El Atillo, which is a very old, upper end. His dad was an entrepreneur and was early involved in providing computer services to companies, particularly oil companies. And he ended up getting a degree in oil, in oil engineering, chemical engineer, and worked for an oil company upon graduation. He went to Simon Bolivar University, and he worked for an oil company there until Maduro came, the predecessor of Maduro came in. And took over the oil companies, and he fled,
right?
Because it wasn't working,
right?
And he lives in Canada now, Venezuela's totally going down the tubes.
Well, and I just see the political structures in this country and media. I mean, look, it's the media's job to question the government. You do it all the time, But at the same time, I think it also, instead of questioning, was this a double tap strike, and why are we why this incursion into another country? I mean, nobody in the press seemed to have a problem when we bombed Iran's nuclear facility.
So people say things like, "Oh, it's not constitutional. Only Congress can declare war." That's right, but there's a War Powers Act. And the War Powers Act allows the president, on his discretion as commander-in-chief, to engage in military activities that will protect the United States of America.
And this is my biggest aggravation about modern politics and media. Everybody's memory is about this big, this long. And, look, President Obama used the War Powers Act and pushed it to the cliff.
Yeah.
I mean,
and actually, what the War Powers Act does, it gives the president the authority to engage in military activity if he thinks the security of the United States is threatened. And all he has to do under the War Powers Act, you don't need a declaration of war. He just has to inform Congress within 48 hours of the action.
Exactly.
And then Congress has 60 days to tell him, okay, that's it. You got to stop it. But he can renew it for another 90 days.
Right.
So
that's how we stayed in Afghanistan all those years. That's how we stayed in the Middle East all those years. I mean, it goes back between both parties. But for some reason now, the standard is different. For some reason now, we act like 30, 40, 50, 60 years of American history and use the War Powers Act never happened by both parties, and somehow it's different.
And the constitutionality, even of the War Powers Act, which the president abides by, is still not been tested. The last time the United States declared war on anybody through congressional declaration.
Korea?
No. World War II. That was the last time.
I figured we formally declared war in Korea, did we not?
Did not. But the point is that he's well within his authority in doing that. But, Bob Costas doesn't like it. He thinks, let's hear from Bob Costas, who once was a good sportscaster.
He is by far the most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. He's only become more disgraceful since 2016 and since 2020. He is a bubbling cauldron of loathsome traits, and it's only those who are actually suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, which is the way they and Fox News and all the rest of MAGA media try to brush aside all the legitimate criticisms of Trump, you have to be in the throes of some sort of toxic delusion in a toxic cult to believe that Donald Trump has ever been, in any sense, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, or ethically fit to be president of the United States.
What a miserable human being Bob Costas is.
I don't understand why we're listening to a sportscaster on CNN talk about global affairs.
Well,
he also is very well versed in toxins. Did you notice all the Botox? I mean, you know, I was just saying, I don't get that. I mean, is CNN, is that all they could afford? Was Bob Costas? I don't understand. Why do we have sportscasters talking about things that are above and beyond their expertise?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, apparently,
I mean, was there not an NFL coach available?
Keith Olbermann was not available.
Well, I mean,
Keith was on his meds.
I mean, was there not a AAA baseball coach we could have gotten up there? I don't understand how we choose these folks. I don't get it.
When we come back, as a media expert, I want to get your opinion as to why the stories that we wrote yesterday about the new revelations of the Covenant Killer that we just got from the FBI documents, why have those stories gained such traction in the past 2 days? I mean, they've gotten a lot of traction, surprisingly so. We'll talk with Clint Brewer about that when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, our very good friend, Clint Brewer, a fully recovered, completely recovered journalist.
Totally recovered.
Totally recovered. That's part of what being on this program has done, because you were recovering when you started with us 6 or 7 years ago.
I was.
Now I've helped this is therapy for Clint.
Yeah.
He is recovered now.
Yeah.
But you know all about media and have a lot of experience in it. Riddle me this. Why is it that all of a sudden, I put out on my X account often details of our stories, articles at the Tennessee Star. And, often they get some level of interest. But boy, 2 articles that we put out, we published these 2 articles yesterday. I did a tweet on one of them yesterday, and then a tweet on the second article this morning. They're getting an awful lot of attention. This particular one, breaking, new Covenant killer documents released by the FBI confirm, the Tennessee Star reporting the killer bought guns with Pell Grant money. That one has 170,000 views, which we've had more before, but still.
Did it get retweeted or reposted by anybody?
Yes, it was organic in the sense that it's just, there was not any particular, high-level influencer out there who shared it. It's been organic. And then this morning, I put this tweet out, linking to our article, more stunning details from documents just released by the FBI. Covenant killer listed, quote, hate religion as reason for killing 6 at Christian school. This morning, that already has 83,000 views. Those are both pretty high for stories that I tweet out. But let me add a couple things on the comments. We've had, like 170 comments on our first one. This, I think, might be a little bit of a clue. Some of these comments. Wait till they hear what the Somalis daycares bought with their grants. I think that might have a little bit to do with that. Also, there's several other comments about that make a comparison to the wasting of money with the Somali fraud going on.
Right.
There's also comments about various people that said, younger people actually said, well, I got my Pell Grant money and I used it to go visit a girlfriend in Australia. Another one, I got my Pell Grant money and I used it to buy food.
I think that's a permissible use of Pell Grant money.
I think so. Well, but then other people said, well, when I was in college, eons ago, we couldn't get any Pell Grant money.
No.
But as it turns out, the money first went to the Nasi College of Art and Design here in Nashville. And then there was money left over, and they gave her a check for $2,000. Audrey Elizabeth Hale used that to buy all the guns she used to kill those 6 people.
Right. I think it's resonating for a couple of reasons, sort of putting on my PR hat. One, it's just a remarkable tragedy. It is just a horrific story. Will never not be. The killing of children and staff members in a Christian school is something that's always going to resonate with people. So I think just like the baseline subject matter is something that people are going to come back to over and over again because, it hits a chord, right? I think you've identified, though, that, there's a real thirst in this country for government to act responsibly. And, when grants, in quotes, are given out. Look, when I was in school, if I hadn't had a couple of Pell Grants, I probably wouldn't have made it through the University of Tennessee. So, they came at just the opportune time. They were helpful. I used them to finish my education, but I think people, there's a heightened sense of awareness about government waste. There's a heightened sense of awareness about government's, intentionally kind acts, supportive acts of Americans being turned into fraud, waste, and abuse, and the money not going to Americans who actually need it. I think Minnesota is a great example of that. That money was supposed to be used to create a social safety net for people during a terrible time in American history, and it was, according to the reporting, just deeply abused.
Yeah, by the way, we were sharing this. We both really love the Babylon Bee.
Babylon Bee is hilarious.
Related to that point, this is a Babylon Bee headline. We talked about this earlier. Governor Tim Walz has announced an $8 billion grant to Somali company to investigate fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in his just intransigence, just his unwillingness to say, apparently something was wrong and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
It's been known it's wrong since 2008, since he's been governor.
Right.
And it's interesting because, you know, you talk about governments, foreign governments that are failed states.
Mm-hmm.
We have states that are failed states. Minnesota is a failed state.
Right.
With all this corruption going on, it would seem to me.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's been known for that long and nobody's acted on it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I mean, look, Nashville has a very large East African immigrant community, legal immigrants, people I know and have worked with who are just terrific people. And they're not fraudsters, they're not criminals, they're business people and they're good people, and you know, but I think that what we've seen in Minnesota is a great example of you know, a guy like Tim Walz being asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, interestingly enough, we have another revelation from the, you know, I have to say, you know, we've been, we're now entering 2026.
Oh yeah.
We're almost, it'll be, in March, it'll be 3 years since the murders at Covenant School by Audrey Elizabeth Hale, who then killed herself, or was killed, didn't kill herself, was killed by Metro Nashville Police Department officers on that day in March 26, 2023. And it's interesting because now we still don't have all of the documents that she wrote. We have most of them. But it has nothing to do with Metro Nashville Police Department. They've not released anything, nor in the Tennessee court system. We've got nothing from that.
Mm-hmm.
We lost in the trial court under ridiculous reasoning by the judge, and now we've appealed that in Court of Appeals. I think we're going to win ultimately there. But I have to say, because you know we talked to people and said, just release all of the writings of the killer and the documents you got in the investigation. Metro Nashville Police Department didn't want to do that. And so, you know, we looked at how do you get it? I thought we would get it from our lawsuits in the state first. Not so.
Right. We
got it from we were represented in our state case by America First Legal, great counsel, Nick Berry. But in our federal case, we were approached by the Wisconsin Institute of Law and Liberty, and they represented us in a federal case that we brought, and we sued the Federal Bureau of Investigation in May of 2023. And it's that case that has yielded the fruit, surprisingly.
Right.
But the reason that it's yielded the fruit is because Donald Trump was elected president.
Yeah, I was about to say you had an election help you along. I mean, it wasn't
that's a totally reason.
It wasn't the federal court system. If you'd been left up to the federal court system, you'll still be trying.
Well, you know, the federal, and we were the only plaintiff in the federal case,
right?
And we were able to do it because we were approached by the Wisconsin Institute of Law and Liberty, and they said we'll do it pro bono, which was exactly the right price for us.
Yeah, it's a great price, isn't it?
It's a great price. And but we filed the suit in May of 2023. Almost immediately, the federal district court judge there, Alita Trauger, who's been around for a long time and has a good reputation, although I think appointed by Barack Obama way back when, she took all of these documents for in-camera review. She reviewed them from May of 23 until April of 25 with like no comment about them. Okay. And so we got these because Trump is inaugurated in January 25. He appoints Kash Patel. Kash had promised to release all these documents, right? And so in a kind of convoluted way, we got the word that Judicial Watch had sued not in Middle Tennessee, but in the District of Columbia to get these documents. And when Ed Martin came in, basically, as the acting U.S. attorney, they put a deal together. It said, yeah, we'll release all these documents. But then they asked us, they gave us the same documents that we'd already obtained legally and published. But that was only 112 pages of 2000. But the deal was, the FBI said that, look, if you drop your case after we give you these 112 documents, we'll give all the documents to you over time. They honored that deal, which is very impressive.
It is.
So we dropped the case in April, said thank you very much. Our counsel got paid.
Right.
They said thank you very much. But the Kash Patel FBI has honored their agreement. And now, yesterday, we got the sixth tranche. I think there may be one or two more that'll be coming, but we got like 1,500 pages. Here's the story that we're going to write that's going to be published later today on it. Trans-identified Covenant killer dropped plan to attack predominantly black school over dread at prospect of black community in despair. I don't know if you'd seen any of that reporting. Yeah, so basically her number one target was a black school. And I think it basically, IT Creswell was her first target, public middle school.
Why?
She dropped it because it's a black community.
So why did she pick it in the first place?
I think she attended their middle school.
Oh.
Quote, she wrote, predominantly black school, black community in despair and suffering. I don't want to cause that. Don't want to harm them. Black friends plus black community will hate me and likely to influence racist white shooters in the future. That's why she didn't go to, although that was her number one target. Kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, we've got a caller. Saeed Garcia wants to talk a little bit. And here he is. Saeed, what's up with you?
Hey, nothing much. I just want to know what's the conversation for today.
Well, we've been talking for quite a while. Saeed, we appreciate the call. Do you have a question for us, Saeed?
Yes.
Good. What is it?
What was the conversation for today?
Okay, thank you, Saeed, for that. Well, we have some of the best listeners in America, and some of them actually listen.
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I think we just kind of move on, maybe.
I think let's move on. Let's move on. We try to, when people call in, because they wait a long time.
Oh yeah,
we try to accommodate them.
Yeah, sure.
Saeed, next time when you have a question, we'd be delighted to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Hey, guess what? It's going to be time for news potpourri when we get back.
Okay.
The penultimate news potpourri of 2025.
What will the conversation be?
I guess we'll have to listen to find out. Thank you, Clint. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path collagen peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path collagen peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path collagen peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Guess what? It's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, News Potpourri, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time of day when we talk about the stories of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of irony. This is a breaking story. It's not a good story. Stefan Diggs, who's the wide receiver for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, sure.
Been charged with multiple felonies.
Ah.
Strangulation, misdemeanor, domestic assault type stuff. So sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But, let the justice system play out.
I guess so.
I don't know any of the details other than that he's been charged. Okay, weird story in the land of weird stories. George Clooney has just become a French citizen. It's a dual citizenship thing, right? And his wife is a crazy.
Why France?
Because apparently they have, his wife speaks French. His wife was kind of European from Lebanon. There's been a French-Lebanon connection. She's
sure.
Druze or something like that. But apparently what he says is they have great privacy laws, and so that the paparazzi don't bug him.
Oh.
But let me just add this. I don't know where you stand on this, but I think it's totally time to eliminate dual citizenship in America. Because I don't think you can have divided loyalties. One crazy federal district court judge that Biden slipped in is he was born in Canada to Egyptian Muslim parents. He's a federal district court judge. He didn't become an American citizen until 2019. He's still a Canadian citizen. He's dual citizenship, and he clerked for, wait for it, the Canadian Supreme Court. No. I think there ought not to be dual citizenship.
I think that's a bit much. I haven't really thought through the dual citizenship thing, but
I think through it because I think we're getting to the point where, there's one bastion of freedom and liberty in the world today.
George Clooney's one of those celebrities that I can never really remember why he's famous.
Well,
you look at some of these actors or actresses and you can go, okay, Leonardo DiCaprio won an Oscar for The Revenant, and he made The Departed and The Aviator, and he has this long-standing relationship with Martin Scorsese as a director.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Ben Affleck.
We were just talking about Ben Affleck.
Who's also won an Oscar and has made all these great. like George Clooney, I can't really wrap my head around, like he did the Ocean's 11 movies, maybe.
Yeah, he's just busy being George
He's
Clooney.
It's like J-Lo. Like, I can never remember exactly what J-Lo was famous for. You know, I know she made some music that wasn't very good, and she made some movies that were also kind of not very good. And,
yeah.
But it's just like, how do they just maintain their celebrity
So
status?
you mentioned Ben Affleck. We talked about this a little bit. You know, I had never watched a movie that I think he wrote.
Good
and
Will
starred
Hunting
in.
is what he and Matt Damon won an Academy Award for Best Screenplay.
Yeah. But then this thing based in Charlestown, Massachusetts, which is
town.
Called The Town. It's a working class, blue collar area of Boston.
Right,
Charlestown.
The armored car theft capital of America.
I mean, he's got this movie.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
It's a sharp movie. It's well done. The characters are well developed. I mean, the premise is crazy.
Have you ever watched his movie, The Accountant?
Yeah,
it's really good too. It's really good.
It is good. But he plays I mean, the guy he's very talented.
Yeah,
he's very troubled.
Who, Affleck?
I think so.
Yeah, he's got some demons. They seem to visit him frequently.
But you know, he's had
always never seems to lack for female companionship.
Never. But he's a very talented guy, though.
Yeah, he is.
It's interesting because he was buddies with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Matt apparently is 2 years older than him,
mm-hmm.
and but they both grew up in Cambridge.
Right.
And Cambridge, Massachusetts. Matt went to Harvard, didn't graduate because he had an opportunity to work on a movie about Geronimo with one of the leads.
Mm-hmm.
And wisely, he chose to go do the movie,
right,
and not graduate. But he did a draft of the screenplay for Good Will Hunting in one of his classes at Harvard. It was picked up.
Right.
So, but great story.
I've heard him joke about Harvard that maybe it was that Actors Studio show, and they said, well, "Have you ever thought about finishing your degree?" He goes, "I don't think Harvard's going to let me back in." I didn't do very well while I was there.
I think they ought to let him back in and give him a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Here's a weird story. Speaking of Harvard and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, his son is going to Harvard. I can't tell if it's a graduate program or an undergraduate program. He's collecting a salary of $110,000 and $57,000 in living expenses from the Minneapolis City Council while attending Harvard.
Wow.
I have a guess on this. I haven't looked. I just saw the headline here. We'll look into it. But I think probably he's going to the John F. Kennedy School of Government. And it is not uncommon for mid-career bureaucrats to go to Harvard and have their everything covered.
Right.
But, it doesn't look good.
No. He's not Somali, is he?
Not that I know of.
They seem to have a way with government money.
They seem to have a way with government money. Okay, so who's going to win the NCAA college football championship?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows?
Okay.
It's been all over the place.
Michigan fires the Sharon Moore who had all the affair and the weird behavior.
Yeah.
They hire Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Utah coach with a long history.
It was a great hire. It's much better. It's a huge upgrade for
It's
Michigan.
a great upgrade. I mean, would you rather have Sharon Moore, who's busy chasing women all around the place? Staffers and women, or Kyle? He's LDS. He's been, he's 21 years with no scandal and a huge winning record. Utah finished in the top 20 like 7 of the past 10 years.
Yeah. He's a really good coach.
That's
a
great
a good hire. Yeah.
On that happy note, Clint Brewer, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
We'll see you in 2026.
See you next year.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday. Back after this. Our website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Thanks so much for joining us.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.